All right, we are live. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Chris, and this is my channel. We love comics. And I'm going to give away some of my secrets, as always. Give it away freely. You're um, able to do this very easily, but you do have to put some effort into it. You have to have knowledge. So if you're not willing to do what it takes to make these deals so where you don't end up having to use any of your money at all, and you're not willing to do the research of the things that you're investing in, it's not going to go well for you in the long run. So I'm giving this information out to people who are really looking for comics as an investment, or even just to save money on comics, to where you don't have to worry about overspending on a comic. Um, it just, to me, this is a no-brainer, and I'm surprised no one else has made a video like this. So while I'm waiting for people to come in and see that I am live, let's first give a shout out to my paid Patreon members. We have a new member. So if you want to join my Patreon, you can go to patreon.com/we love comics. The minimum to join anybody's Patreon is $2. So to me, it's not the dollar amount, it's the thought that counts. But if we get up to 20 paid members before the end of February, I will be raffling off a very fine, uh, basically find a very fine X-Men number 97 to one of my paid members. So even if you contribute the minimum of $2, that's an entry to get in. So like I said, we're up to now 13 members. So you'll get a shout out every single video. And like I said, if we can get to 20 people before the end of February, I'm going to give away that comic. If we get to 30, I'll give away the comic and the unopened baseball card pack as well. So there'll be two separate chances to win. So not just one person winning both. I'll have two separate contests with that. So again, join at patreon.com/we love comics. Let's give a shout out to our Patreon members: Sith Lord, Michael B, Kevin W, Dan L, Herbert R, Annabelle N, Jason B, Kim N, our newest member known as Blessed. So thank you. I really appreciate you joining my Patreon. And the last four, um, and anybody can do this if you want more than just your name. If you want me to put your social network, or your, maybe you have a eBay store, or you have your own personal business, you'd like me to promote your website, let me know in advance at peacefulfeelings@yahoo.com. I have no problem with doing that for you. So, if you have YouTube, check out Kendall Kid Comics. It's comics with an X at the end. He hasn't made videos in a while, he said, but maybe if enough people start following him and messaging him, maybe it will influence him to maybe make a video or two. So go check him out. But shout out to Kendall. Shout out to, if you have Instagram, to check out Scott at ScottWU077. If you have Facebook, check out Steven at Stephen L. Kirk Author. And last but not least, once again, if you have Instagram, check out Silver Age Surfer _comics on Instagram. Give them all a follow, and let them know We Love Comics sent you. So there is the normal giveaways that I'm giving away once I get to 20 paid members. There is no minimum to join, other than the minimum to join anybody's Patreon, which I said $2, but you'll get one entry for every $2 you put in. So the more you put in, the more chances you'll get once we get to that. So if we can get to 20 paid members by the end of February 20, I think it's either 28th. I don't think it's a leap year, so I'm assuming it's February 28th, but if it's the 31st, then absolutely we'll go until then. But I will be giving away an X-Men 97, which is basically roughly around a $250 comic. My way of saying thank you. So let's get to this video. I'm just going to keep the thumbnail on because there's no reason to see my ugly mug for this information. So this is a way where you cannot have to spend one dime and be able to slowly build up your comic book abilities, and be able to acquire comics that end up eventually getting to the point where you're talking mega keys and grail books. Now, if you've been watching my channel for a while, what I want you guys to do is a little homework assignment. I want you to type in on my channel, when you get the opportunity, my top 30 comics. Now, I've done a couple of those over the years. I want you to watch the earliest one first. I think I did it around 2017 that I did that one. I want you to see what was my top 30 comics at that time. Then you can watch the others if you want, but if you don't want to watch all the others, because I think there's maybe two or three more, watch the last one I did. I think it was the end of last year or the beginning of this year, where I did my most recent top 30. And you'll see the huge difference in the grails and mega key issues that I've acquired. Now, anyone that has millions of dollars in their bank account or, what they call FU money, you could buy any comic at any time. So this isn't going to be for somebody that has, all the money in the world and they don't care about, putting $20,000 down on a $20,000 comic. What I'm going to teach you is how you can, with either little money or no money at all, build up over time to get to the point where you're literally paying $0 for your mega key comics. So again, this is going to require work. It's going to require effort. It's going to require time. So if you're not willing to do that, sitting around doing nothing you're going to get exactly that, nothing or the bare minimum. So this requires work. So the first thing you need to do is study the comics that you are possibly interested in. Unless you're like me, I don't specifically look for any specific comic, but if I see one that would be interesting to me to own, because you guys know me, I love collecting key issues and rarer comics. Like sometimes when you see the Mark Julis variants, or I've had books with double covers, or books with a lot of signatures on it, even newsstands. But you guys know me, I love acquiring grails. And speaking of which, this week I have acquired not one, but two holy grails on the list that I was trying to acquire via trade. And that was what inspired me to do this video. Because, like I said, this video is for people that don't have a lot of money. Because I don't have $100,000 in my bank account. I don't have wealthy family, but I can acquire mega key issues. It does take time because, again, watch my first video from 2017 of my top 30 comics, and then go fast forward to the last video I did, either at the end of the 2024 year or the beginning of this year. I'm not sure exactly. And you'll see how much I've improved. So it does take time. So you need patience. Okay. So this is what you got to do if you want to spend $0. Okay. First thing you need to do is open up a PayPal account if you don't have one, okay? Because PayPal, if you have at least a decent amount of credit, you can get PayPal credit, which means that they'll put a certain limit. Now, mine started at about $1,000 limit, but it's gotten up to a little bit under 10,000 at this point. So they will increase it over time if you make your payments and you're never late. And I have been on PayPal since before it started. I remember, let me know in the comment section if you're one of these people as well. I remember back, I don't know what year PayPal started, but I remember I got an email one day saying, if you join PayPal, a new company that they're going to start, they would pay you $5 to join. So I have been a PayPal member since day one. So what you do is, it's not just you buy any comic and then you put it on PayPal credit. What you need to do, and this is where the homework has to come in, you have to find comics that you know are steals. Somebody posting something, either at an auction where it's maybe a holiday and nobody's bidding, or maybe somebody doesn't know the value of a book, or more than most of the time, more likely to happen, is a newly listed comic where somebody, maybe some grandparent went in their attic or something and saw a comic and said, you know what, I can make a quick $100 on a book, and they didn't want to do the research, and that book is a $500 book. I've shown many a times where I've done that. Like, for example, last year I bought one of my Fantastic Four 52s. I paid $69 for it, and that's with taxes and shipping and handling. So what you need to do is you have to make sure you find a comic that you know is a steal, where you could literally turn around and sell it the next day and double your profit. So let's use the Fantastic Four. No, let's do, because it's an even number. I remember one time I bought an Amazing Spider-Man number 50. This is a couple years ago. Um, and I won it for I think it was $50 even. And at the time, I sold it for $200. So if you, for example, find a $200 book and you could pick it up, let's just say for $100, you put it on PayPal credit. Now, anything over $100 on PayPal credit, they will give you up to 6 months, no interest to pay it off. Sometimes they do up to a year. There have even been times, it's very rare, but there have been times, and I had that once, where they gave 2 years where you could make a payment. Now, they do have certain levels on that as far as a dollar amount that you have to spend. In other words, you can't buy a $10 comic and get 6 months to a year to pay for it. It has to be, unless they change it from this time of this video, it's got to be at least a purchase of $99 or more. But how easy would it be if you bought a book for $100 and you put it on your PayPal credit account and have 6 months to pay for it? But here's the thing, where you don't have to even worry about coming up with that $100 to pay for it, because what you do is you turn around and you sell that book. So if you have $100 book that you put on PayPal, which means when you put it on PayPal credit, they take no money out of your account. So you have $0 invested in that $100 comic. You get it. And if you think it could benefit from a pressing and dry cleaning, you may have to spend a little money to get it graded. But if you don't even want to do that, you can turn around and say, all right, I know this book is automatically going to get me at least $200. So you turn around and you buy that book for $100, put it on your PayPal credit. You turn around once you receive it and make sure everything's fine. You turn around and sell it. So let's just assume you sold that $100 book that you bought for $200. So you now have $100 to pay off that PayPal account. If you want to pay it all at one time, you can again distribute it into that 6 months, so you actually can hold on to more money for longer. But then you have an extra $100 to play with. So then what you do at that point is you look for another steal. But as you increase this, you will get more and more profit that you can either continually buy cheaper comics, which will sell faster because there'll be more people that can afford cheaper comics, or you can do what I've done, where slowly over time, and this does and can take years, to where you go from a 2.5 Amazing Spider-Man 50 to one day buying a Journey into Mystery 83. So it took me literally, I started doing this back in 2017. I've never missed a PayPal payment. And what I've done is, and anybody that's watched my channel can attest, that see that I get deal after deal. I will not buy a comic unless I can get it for less than what the current sale value is of the lowest sale on eBay. And there are times where I buy a book where I can sell it for 5 times what it's worth. 5 times what I paid for it. Because I always look for deals. I spend the time to invest in. I literally will go on eBay when I'm thoroughly into it. And I will type in the word comics, because I will not write a specific word. Because, for example, if you put in Journey into Mystery, and let's say you're looking for Journey into Mystery 83, First Thor. Let's say a person is selling Journey into Mystery 83, but they accidentally misspelled mystery. So if you type in Journey into Mystery and they misspelled it, it will not come up in your search engine. That's why, for example, one time I talked years ago how I bought Showcase 22, first appearance of Hal Jordan, Green Lantern, and I found it late at night, and I was the only bidder because the person accidentally wrote Shoecase. So what I do is I put in the search engine on eBay, I just write comics. Now, what I do is I also put a price range. This eliminates the dollar comics that'll totally fill up the time that you have to scroll, and also the comics that are way out of your price range. If you have a budget, let's say you have a budget of $500, or let's say your PayPal account gives you $1,000 credit. That means you can spend up to $1,000 of somebody else's money, have a minimum of at least 6 months to pay it off. And the best part is you're only doing that when you're purchasing a deal. So let's say you have $1,000 credit on PayPal credit. Okay. And you find $1,000 book, but somebody's selling it for 500. So you're not taking any money out of your own pocket. You buy it on eBay and you pay for it with PayPal credit. So now you have $1,000 comic that you bought for $500. You have 6 months, up to 6 months to pay for it, sometimes longer if they do promotions. And you turn around once you get it. And again, if you want to invest a little money, you can get it graded if you think it will improve the grade with the pressing and dry cleaning. Or you can turn around and just sell it raw for the value of what the comic actually is. So let's say your $500 comic, you sell it for 1,000 to somebody which is the current value of that book. You now can either pay off the complete $500 amount, or you have 6 months to pay for it, which means you only have to pay roughly about $75 a month. So instead of taking that whole 500 and paying it off at one time, you can pay off only $75 to $100 each month and keep that extra money and put it towards another book. So you've turned a credit into cash, into books, and keep that cycle going. But the thing is, you have to have discipline, you have to have knowledge, you have to have a positive outlook, and you have to be willing to do what it takes to know quickly what is a deal and not be afraid to pounce on it. Because one of the benefits of eBay is their buyer protection program. I have literally had, probably on 6 or 7 occasions, scammers that tried to steal up to $5,000 worth of purchases from me, and not once did they succeed. So you have to eliminate the fear first off. Now, if you cannot have a PayPal credit because maybe you just have horrible credit, okay, you can literally start out with maybe $25. You find a $50 comic that you can get for around $25, turn around and sell that. So you'll now have a $25 net profit, which means you took $25, turned it into 50. Then you take that 50, try and find a $200 book or a $100 book. So let's just keep it small. You find $100 book and somebody selling it for 50. Snatch it up, use your $50, buy that $100 book, turn around and sell it for $100. Your $25 now turned into $50 profit. Now you take that $100 from that sale and you turn around and try and find a $500 book for around the $250 range. And you slowly build up, and that is how you can actually make yourself get better and better comics and not have to spend any of your money, or at the very least, if you don't have credit enough to get PayPal credit, you can use a little bit of money. But you have to know a deal and you have to pick it up quickly, because especially if it's a best offer, buy it now. If a deal is a super deal, don't even waste your time with a best offer. Like, for example, when I saw somebody, and again, this was just the last year, I won a Fantastic Four number 52, first appearance of the Black Panther. With shipping and handling and with taxes, it came out to $69. Now, they had, I think it was $50 and then plus tax and then whatever shipping it was. They had $50 plus best offer. That book in a 0.5 is worth about $200, give or take the time of year and the time that's going on. So let's even say it was worth 150. The book was definitely a higher than a 0.5. So you got to know what grades are. For example, if you have a book that does not have a front cover, but it has a back cover, you know that's not a coverless book. That's a 0.5. You know if there's a complete spine split in a book, the best grade you can get is a 2.5. You know, if you have a perfect book, but it has a color breaking subscription crease all the way down that breaks color, you know the highest grade you can get on that is a 5.0. If you don't know these things quickly, you're going to miss out on opportunities. You also should have a general idea, and this is what I do also, because I'm not going to have everything memorized as far as value, because things change all the time, with announcements for movies and TV shows and actors playing parts and blah, blah, blah. So what I always do is I'll put up my eBay tab with the comic section for newly listed books, and I'll refresh literally every 10 seconds because you want to find that book as soon as somebody puts it up. Because if you see a deal and it's a good deal, you want to snatch it up quickly. Now, one thing you have to make sure of is before you impulse just buy it, because sometimes people put stuff that's too good to be true. So first of all, you want to look at their ratings, because everybody that's on eBay gets ratings. Now, not everybody rates them, but if you see somebody that's selling, like I've seen people try and sell an Amazing Fantasy 15 at a 2.5 for $1,000. If you see a rating of 0, stay away from that if it's too good to be true, because it's 99.9% time a scam. Also, before you buy it, you want to read the description. If there is no description, be very careful. But be also careful of not reading a description, because it may say that maybe it's a Hulk 181. Maybe it says in the description, missing Marvel value stamp. Maybe it says for Daredevil 181, first Bullseye. Or is it the death of Bullseye? Or is that the death of, well, whatever. If maybe the centerfold is missing. So you have to make sure you take that time, but you got to do it quick. So what I do is I'll open up 3 tabs, 3 different eBay tabs. Okay. So the first tab will say the comics. I'll set the price limit range that I want. I only do buy it now because I don't care about auctions for a newly listed book. Because if it's a newly listed book at $1 and it's an auction, that means it's going to run its course. So I set it to buy it now. So that'll automatically only show books that you could buy instantly or have a buy it now best offer. And then I'll open a second eBay tab and I'll do comics ending soonest. So again, I'll just write comics. I'll put the price range that I'm looking for. And that time, instead of buy it nows, I put auction prices, because I don't care about buy it nows. Because if a listing has been there for 7 days and no one bought it, it's because no one wants to buy it for that price, or it's just not a book that's anybody wants. So I want to go towards the auction ending. And sometimes you can find some deals. They're not as easy with auctions, because if you have a person that has a 7 to 10 day auction and it's a very key book at a decent price, there are going to be bids on it. But that can happen. Okay. Now, what's my third tab? The third tab is for when I see a comic I have interest in. I want to see if either the buy it now or the auction that's about to end, is it in a price range where I could make money off of this comic, even if I wanted to sell it the very next day. So I use the third tab on my eBay openings on my computer to check sold prices of that comic. So let's say you're looking at an Amazing Spider-Man 50, and let's say it's graded a 2.0. So you want to type in Amazing Spider-Man 50, 2.0, and then on the left-hand corner where you have all those different brackets where you can set categories and levels, you want to go to sold, do highest first, and then scroll down, because if you do lowest first, it'll show all reprints and stuff that are $1. So you want to do the highest first, and then scroll down until you find the absolute lowest that somebody sold a 2.0 for. And let's say the lowest 2.0 was sold for, let's just say, $400. And you see a buy it now for a 2.0, and you check the person's rating, and they have 300 ratings, 99.9% positive. You read the description so you don't see that the case is cracked or anything, and everything looks legit. And they have a buy it now for $200 for that book. Well, you now know you better pounce on it at that moment. So you could buy a $400 book for $200. You use your PayPal credit. You put it on the PayPal credit so it's not costing you one dime. Once you get the comic, you sell it right away for around the $400 range, and you take that profit. And again, you can either pay off the PayPal credit right away, but to me that makes no sense because with PayPal credit with the 6 months, it's no interest that whole time. So why would you pay it off that next month when you have 5 more months that you can pay it and not be penalized? Because the problem is when people use credit cards, you only have 30 days for most times to be able to pay something off before they charge you interest. So the important part is you want to make sure you pay it off because once if you're, I have never, two things have happened. And again, I've been a PayPal member since literal day one. I have never been late on a PayPal payment, and I've never paid one dime in interest because I've always paid them off. So if you don't have a lot of credit with them or you have to use some of your cash, start out small and build up. But you can't buy a $400 comic for $400 or $350 because it gives you not enough room to be able to do anything. You have to put the effort in to find deals. And that's why my career now is selling comic books and buying comic books because I get to buy the very thing I absolutely love, which is exactly why I called this channel We Love Comics, because I love especially acquiring books I never thought I would be able to acquire. Now, back in 2017, I wouldn't be owning 99% of the books, my key issues that I have now, because I didn't have the money. I still to this day don't have literally. If I had a bill for $1,000 right now, I'd have to sell some of my books to get that. So trust me when I say I am not well off, but I can use other people, well, not other people's money, but I'm using PayPal credit to be able to have PayPal pay for the book. I have 6 months to pay for it. I make sure I'm only buying deals. I either find a deal or also, like I've tried to teach people all the time, make deals happen. I have messaged many a person that had a book listed and it was a buy it now, let's just say for $500. And it might even have been a good deal at 500. It might not have been a great deal, but it could have been a good deal. And I might have bought it at that point. But what I will do before I do that, unless it's a steal like that Fantastic 449, because or that amazing Spider-Man 50, because by the time I message the person, it will have already been sold. So you can't be too, oh my God, let me hit the absolute rock bottom. Sometimes you just gotta take what you can get. But I've on many occasion messaged people and said, "Hi, I see you have this book, blah 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 book for $500. Would you be willing to take $400 for this book? I could pay for it right now so you don't have to wait." Now, some people will not respond. Some people will respond rudely. Some will politely say, "Thank you, but I'm interested in only selling it at the current price." And sometimes you'll get people to say, "You know what? I'll accept that." Or they'll say, "I can't do 400, but how about 450? How about we meet in the middle?" Well, even if that happens, you just got an extra $50 discount by making that happen that would not have happened if you did not do it. So at the absolute worst, because I've actually had people that get offended. And I'm like, why are you getting offended? All I'm doing is trying to make an offer. You can just say no. I never understood those rude people, but there have been plenty of people that didn't even try and say a counteroffer. They would just accept it because you never know why somebody's selling something. Like I said, there could be somebody that moved in, they bought a house and they moved in and they saw the previous owners didn't know that there was their grandparents' comics in the attic. And they turn around and say, "Wow, I can sell these for $100 that I wouldn't have had." So to them, they could sell books and make $500 and say, "Wow, I just made $500." But meanwhile, they sold something that might be worth 5,000. Now, I never feel bad for anybody that sells something that they could literally take 30 seconds on a Google search to find out the value of. If somebody doesn't want to put the effort in, that's on them. And that's why I continually stress to my subscribers and my viewers, make sure you know what you're doing. Make sure you research, make sure you have confidence. Because, like I've said all the time when it comes to comics, there are many comics that I would love to own, but I'm not going to overspend for them. And like I said earlier, I have not one, but two Holy Grail comics coming to me soon. One just confirmed that they're shipping it out today, that I made deals with over the weekend, that I made happen, and used this strategy to where I'm not using my money to pay for these things because I don't have the money that it took to get these, but PayPal credit does. And these books are books that I was looking to trade for. Now, I started these videos about wanting to trade for books over 2 years ago. And in that time period of 2 years, I've seen these books dozens and dozens of times, but I couldn't afford them, or the prices I thought were too high, or I could not make or find a deal. So I was willing to wait. So you have to get rid of that fear of missing out. The thing that ruins 90% of people that try and invest in anything, because they use their emotion instead of their brain and their heart. Because my attitude is, even if it's a comic I love, I always know there's going to be another comic that will come my way. And I'm going to give you an example of this and why this whole started with me acquiring these two Holy Grails that are coming. I actually had the opportunity to try and win, because at the time it was actually a pretty decent price that nobody bid on. I was trying to acquire a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #1 first print. It was a 6.5. At the time, the deal was for about $8,000, which is a pretty good price for that book. So I made sure I had my PayPal credit totally empty. I had to sell a couple of things of mine to do it, but I came up with the ability to be able to purchase it. Now, the funny part is, the book ended up selling for over $9,000, which was roughly about what the value is. I was really disappointed that I didn't get it, because I always wanted that book, especially in a first print. I've had a second print before, but I've never had a first print. But instead of getting mad or instead of getting frustrated, I said, okay, that just means a better opportunity is around the corner. And lo and behold, less than a day later, I find a Grail book, made a deal that is about half of what the book is worth. And then another day later, I make a deal on another book that is worth about half of what it's worth. And these are two books I've never owned before, and I've always wanted, and were both on my list of books that I was willing to trade for. So I don't even talk about trades anymore, because I've actually now acquired three of the books that I've wanted via trade and ended up getting them without trading and without using my own dollars, because I used PayPal credit. But I didn't start out that way. I had to start out with a little bit, because again, my PayPal credit initially was about, I believe, $1,000, or it was 500 back when I first started. When they started doing the PayPal credit anyway. Now, like I said, it's around $10,000. And there are times where they'll allow me to have 1 year to pay for it. I've had times where they've allowed me to have 2 years, no interest. So you can literally buy something. You can have, let's say you have a PayPal credit of $5,000 and you have $0 in your bank account. Somebody's selling a $10,000 comic for $5,000. Now, you would have to pay the interest. So let's say it's a $10,000 book and you paid 4,500. Okay, so after taxes, let's say it comes out to 5,000. So you have $5,000 that you did not spend, take one dime out of your account. You bought probably a Grail comic with that money. You have 6 months to pay it off. You get it. You can either, again, pay a little bit of money to get it graded, or you can turn around and sell it right away. So let's say you paid $5,000 for that book. Let's say you sell it for $10,000. You now have $5,000 in your pocket that you did not have before. You have a book that was worth 5,000 that you didn't have to spend a dime on, so you got $10,000 out of thin air. And you can either put the 5,000 back into that PayPal account and pay it off and not have to worry about it, or you could spend about, I think it's like, let's see, 8 times 6 is 54, so it'd be less than 800. It'd be around $750 a month. And you could use the rest of that money to buy another comic. And then you could build up and build up and build up. So I don't understand how nobody really does this that I know of, because no one has ever made a video like this. If I'm wrong and somebody has, let me know. Put it in the comment section. But I'll tell you this much: if anybody out there has made a video like this, I guarantee you it's on their PayPal, their Patreon account, where you have to pay money to get it. As you can see, my PayPal, and I'll show it really quick if you want to join and get your name up here. It's PayPal. I'm sorry, Patreon account / We Love Comics. I guarantee you that if anybody made a video like this, it's on their Patreon account, where you have to pay money to see it. I give away information freely. My Patreon is for people who want to contribute to my channel and say, you know what? You've helped me make thousands of dollars over the years from your information. Here's $2 a month. It also helps me with my stray cats that I take care of. I take of on average 20 stray cats every day, feed them twice a day, take them to the vets if I need them. We buy them beds, for, especially when it gets cold out, or make sure they have water, make sure they have their if they need vets medication and stuff like that. So my Patreon is for people who just want to support my channel, not to get this information. I give it away freely. Now, whether it works for you or not, let me know, because I want everyone to succeed. There are so many comics out there and so many people that like so many different things that everybody could benefit from this. So I'm not afraid to say, oh, I have competition, because I will work quickly. That's why I get deal after deal. And that's why when I do my unboxing videos, I always say to people, all right, what is the most you would pay for this book that I just showed? And you'll see almost time and time again what people will put in the live chat. I pay half of that price, sometimes even lower. So you have to know the value of comics, or you have to have the ability to search really quick. And the best way to do it is I go on eBay and I check if it's a specific grade, if it's a graded book, I look up that specific grade and I go, not what's for sale, but what has been sold. And I find the lowest one that was sold in that grade level. And then I try and find at least between 30 and 50% less of a price. And if I can't get it, I'll pass up on it. It does take time. It literally can take you 5 to 10 years. But just imagine, in 5 to 10 years, you can go from collecting, Amazing Spider-Man 360 into getting Amazing Spider-Man #1. How many people would say that if it took you 5 years to do it, you would do it in a heartbeat? But you got to put in the effort. If you are hungry, you could pray for food all you want. You could wish for food all you want. You can hope for food all you want. You can sit there and image food in your brain all you want. Or you can get off your butt and get some food. So, for the people that are lazy, for the people who just want to sit there and do nothing, for the people who are just never going to put in the effort it takes, you are going to fail more times than you will ever succeed. But whose fault is that? When you have the ability to do something like this, where you can literally sit at home, be on a computer, do minimal effort work, and be able to literally, in a few years, make thousands of dollars and buy thousands of dollars worth of books that cost you $0 out of your pocket. Now, again, if you're a person that has a $1 million business, or you're married into money, or you literally make $5,000 a day at your job, this stuff doesn't really matter to you. You could buy $100,000 comic with $100,000. Me, if I was ever fortunate enough to buy $100,000 comic, I would make sure I got it for 50,000, 60,000, 40,000. Because anybody can buy something at retail, but can you find that book for a discount? So even if you're not doing it for investments, Even if you're just buying it because you love the book, or you want to hang it up on the wall because you love the art, or you're buying the book because you want to read it, why would you spend more money if you don't have to? I don't understand that concept, but everybody has the right to do what they want. So that is one of my many secrets. If you go on my channel and watch my older videos, I give secret after secret, and I don't charge anybody a dime for it. You can use it, you can not use it. You can laugh at it, or you can utilize it. That's up to you. I give this because, like I said, if I succeed, I want you to succeed. If we all succeed, guess what? Instead of us hating on each other and trying to bash on each other and trying to attack one another, we're all happy. Isn't that how life should be? If everybody's successful and nobody's unsuccessful, there would be no reason for somebody to try and want to be jealous of what somebody else has, or want to take away what somebody else has, or gets completely insane that they don't want to do the effort and want to just sit there on their butt and just have things handed to them. Life doesn't work that way. And hey, if it does work that way for you, then you found the secret potion. Sell that and you'll be a billionaire. So I hope you will appreciate what I try and teach you. Whether you utilize it or not is up to you. If you go about it half-ass, don't be shocked that you are going to get what you give. If you think you're going to do this and within 5 minutes of doing the searching that you're going to find grail after grail, you're going to be very disappointed. Like I said, this could take years, but doing nothing takes forever. So it's up to you. If you want to just buy book after book and buy it for the retail going price, fine. But then you're going to have to sit on it for years. I see so many YouTube channels where they talk about investments and say, well, if you want this book, if you're not willing to sit on it for a couple of years, it's not worth it. That's if you buy it for the current price. Well, if the book is worth 1,000 and you were able to find a version of that book for 600, well, then you don't have to sit on it for years. But if you can't wait because you need to have it now because your impulse is telling you, oh, I'm afraid of missing out, and you spend the $1,000 on that $1,000 book, well, now you have no choice but to wait and hope the book goes up. Because what if it goes down? Now you're losing money. And that's why with my auctions that I've had, even when how many people on YouTube in the comic book quote unquote community says, oh, the economy's bad and the prices of the values of books are going down. That just means when I sell a book, I'm not making as much profit. But even with prices going down, I'm still making profit. And it was profit because over the almost, has it been close to a decade? That's kind of scary. I've had PayPal pay for the majority of my books. And as you see, I don't need to do an auction every 5 months. I mean, every 5 minutes. I do them maybe once or twice a year. Now, I am not at the point now where I'm comfortable and have, like I said, I don't have $5,000 in my bank account. My investments are not only comics, but other collectibles I've had, like gold and silver and baseball cards and things like that I've accumulated over the years. So I've put 99% of my income into my investments. Why? Because the day I die, I want to make sure my wife will never have to worry about ever having to pay for a bill. My happiness, I love buying these books. I love interacting with the few people here that really appreciate what I do and understand why I do what I do. But I get to sit here, spend time and stay at home with my wife, take care of the cats anytime they need me, go to the beach whenever I want, which I would not do even here in Florida right now because no thanks. But not have to work a 9 to 5 job that I hate that's doing nothing more than making somebody else wealthy while you just collect the same paycheck over and over again. And with inflation and with deflation and devaluation, you're losing value and equity day after day. To me, that makes no sense. But it's the easier route because people are so afraid of the unknown. And this is what I say to people that are afraid of the unknown. Because if you're afraid of the unknown, then let me ask you this. When was the last time when you had a Christmas present, a birthday present, a Valentine's Day present, or what have you, and you got a box that was wrapped and you had no idea what was in it, how many of you said, "Oh my God, I don't know what's in this box. I can't open this. What if it's something scary? What if it's a monster? What if it's an exploding device? What if it's a box of poop? I don't know what it is, so I should be scared." No, that's not how reality works. Aren't you excited? Well, use that excitement instead of always using the negativity. When you see a glass is half full, remember, ladies and gentlemen, that glass is also half empty. And when you see a glass is half empty, it's also half full. But technically, it's full no matter what, because even if it only has half the glass full of liquid, the other half is full of air and molecules and bacteria and other things you just can't see. So technically, a glass is always full. But I'm talking from a negative point of view or a positive point of view. If you had two choices only between a glass is half full or a glass is half empty, glass is only half full if you're a pessimist and you don't appreciate it. But if you're somebody that was walking in a desert for a week and you are about to die from dehydration, if you got a half a glass of water, you'd be thanking your lucky stars that you have the ability to have that glass, even though it was only filled half the way. So it depends on your outlook. Now, the beautiful thing about outlooks is they can change at any moment. It depends on you. If you have an ego that makes you too stubborn to change anything in your life, then you'll stay stagnant for the rest of your life. Just imagine a stagnant pond. Is a stagnant pond beautiful? Is it clear? Is it clean? No. It's full of bacteria, it's full of duck, it's full of plant life, it's green, it's full of algae, and you can't drink it. What is the clearest water? A stream. Why? Because it continues to flow, it continues to move, it continues to adjust. So if you want to act like a pond and sit there and say, "Well, I'm going to stand my ground and this is my point of view and I will never change," congratulations, you're a moldy, mucky, green pond. If you want to be like Bruce Lee, when he said, "Be like water," in other words, go with the flow, you will always be transitioning. You will always be changing. You will always be adjusting. And that is how nature intends you to be. You ever wonder why things have been so crazy in the world for the last probably 10 years or so? It's because they want you to sit at home and do nothing. Go on Instagram, go on YouTube all the time, go on TikTok and just do 10-second videos and have the attention span of a 1-year-old child. If that's the life you want, hey, that's the beautiful thing about free will. But if you want to change your life, sitting there hoping, sitting there praying, sitting there wishing, sitting there focusing in on it on your mind and doing nothing about it is going to make you spend your rest of your life doing those things forever. Forever, ever, forever, ever. Or you can say, today's the day that I'm tired of losing. I want to do something better with my life. What can I do to make that happen? And then start doing it. I'm showing you a very simple way with this program and this process. It doesn't cost you any money. You don't have to pay me a dime. You don't have to read my book. You don't have to sign up for my course. You don't have to invest in some kind of scheme that somebody's trying to pull. You just need to use your brain. You need to use your heart, and you have to have patience. You have to have knowledge. You have to have effort. You have to be quick, and you can make this happen quickly. So it could take 5 years, it could take 10 years, it could take 20 years, it could take 1 year. That depends on the effort you're willing to do. If you want to believe, oh, this is just luck, then congratulations. You're like 99% of the world who will never succeed in life because they do not believe that you make your reality happen. If you think life is just chance, well, then don't do anything. You'll get exactly what you give, and that's nothing. But don't be shocked when that happens. So even using my technique, if you're not willing to put in the effort, if you're not willing to utilize my information that I'm providing to you freely and start learning about value of comics, stop being afraid of contacting people and trying to make deals. Stop buying the book right away no matter what the price is because you need to have a new book on your videos and you just got to show people the quote unquote great deal you had but never mention the price as what you say is a good deal. Then by all means please do. There will be very few people that will watch this and even fewer people that will actually utilize it. And to me, that makes no sense. So if you want to be able to buy comics and end up eventually getting comics that are worthy of people watching, start this now. But again, if you have a PayPal account, don't do the wrong thing by not paying it, or don't keep missing payments because you're only going to screw yourself. Because, like I said, I have been a PayPal member since literal day one. I have never been late on a payment ever. And I use my PayPal account for 99.9% of my comic book purchases. Every now and then I'll get something I used to get stuff at comic book stores. I don't do that anymore, but I've done it on occasion, especially the newer books, but I won't buy those anymore. And every now and then I would go on Craigslist and make deals happen. But like I said, probably 99.9% of my purchases have been via PayPal credit. And I have never once paid one dime in interest because I make sure that when I get close to a payment due, I make sure I sell a comic or two. And this is why I also tell people if you get multiple copies of a book, let's say you're attached to a book, you've always wanted Daredevil #1. Okay. If you have the ability to find deals, because I've had deals on Daredevil #1 too. I've had several times I've had it. I bought a Daredevil #1 back in 2018 for around $350. And I think that book was a 6.0 when I got it graded. Deals are always out there. But if you can get more than one, well, you can sell one and still be the proud owner of a Daredevil #1. Or fill in the blank of whatever comic that is your personal grail. But this can be done. Let me know in the comment section if you appreciate this. If you appreciate this, like I said, I could have easily put this on my Patreon and charged people $2, $5, $10, or whatever to get this information. I give it freely because I want you to succeed. I'm already succeeding. Now, I don't have, Bill Gates money or anything, and probably never will, nor do I care. Like I said, the majority of my net worth is in my investments. So the day I die, which hopefully won't be today, um, will make sure my wife will never have to worry again. Now, unfortunately, she doesn't want to learn anything about comics, so she'll probably sell them for a heck of a lot cheaper. So somebody like you guys can take advantage of somebody like my wife when she's ready to sell them because she won't put in the effort to try and find out the values because it's just too overwhelming. My thing is, if somebody handed me 50,000 comics and I had to go through every one of them to learn the values and I'm basically getting them for free and I could make a hoop ton of money, you'll be damn right I'll go through every single book, even if it takes me 5 years to get through it. But not everybody's the same. So if you want to join my Patreon and support my channel, you don't have to, but if you want to, you'll get your name up on this list. You'll get a shout out every single video. All you have to do is go to patreon.com/we love comics. Again, if I get to, and I'll show the video camera, if I get to 20 paid members by the last day of February, I am going to be raffling off. And again, you could see this is in pretty darn, like I said, I believe it's at least in very fine condition. This is X-Men number 96, which is the first Moira McTaggart. X-Men are coming to the MCU. This book right now is worth about between $200 and $250. All you have to do is join my Patreon and you can even do the minimum to join, which is $2 a month. But as you can see right on the bottom of the screen here with all the giveaways, normally 20 paid members gets the one open baseball card pack. But I wanted to give that as an incentive for more people to join. But you'll get one entry for every $2 you put into your account. So the more you put into your We Love Comics Patreon account, the more entries you'll get. And if we get to 30 paid members by the end of February, not only will I give away that comic, I will also give away one of the ungraded baseball card packs. So there'll be two different chances to win. So right now we currently have 13 paid members. Like you can see, newest member calls themselves Blessed. So thank you, Blessed. If you want me to change that to anything else, like if you have a YouTube channel or a Facebook page, Instagram, or even a business with a link, if you want me to change it to that, please let me know. I'll be more than happy to do it. So again, there's there's nothing you have to pay for to see anything on Patreon. I give away everything freely. This is only for people who want to be supporting my channel and the thing I love second to collecting comics. And I'm not talking about my wife because she's absolutely number one, but I'm talking about materialistic things. Is helping feed those cats every day, making sure they're safe. This whole week we've had like 38 to 40-degree weather, especially at night. A couple of the cats we actually took in and allowed to sleep indoors, and we put a heater in front of them so they can actually know what it's like to be warm. I pay for their hospital bills vet bills when they need them, medicines if they need them. So the majority of the money that comes from Patreon isn't for me going to buy comics. It's going to support these cats. So hopefully you appreciate my secret. If you've ever heard of this before, put it in the comments section. If you've never heard of this before, put it in the comments section. If you appreciate it, you can hit the thumbs up. You can subscribe. You can even share it if you want. But let's make this into a real community. Real communities want everybody to succeed. A fake community says they're in a community and only thinks for themselves and doesn't want to do anything or reveal anything to help anyone else. That's somebody that's selfish. That's somebody who cares more about ego than empathy. And that's not what my channel's about. And that's why I didn't call this channel You Love Comics. That's why I didn't call this channel I Love Comics. I have this channel named We Love Comics because it should be about we. So today's surprise subscriber shoutouts, we're going to go with Patrick Mell and we're going to go with Ben Compton. Both of you are today's surprise subscriber shoutouts. So what that entails is, if you're still here, um, in the comment section, once this video uploads, you could place a link either to your YouTube channel if you make YouTube videos, your social network if you want somebody to follow you on one of your social networks, or if you sell anything on Amazon, Etsy, eBay, or any other place, you could put a link instead of that. Or if you have your own personal business and you want me to put maybe your business phone number or your business website, you can do a link to that instead. Keep in mind, all links are going to be verified, so please do not place any links of any inappropriate material because they will never see the light of day. I don't want anybody to accidentally click on a link that will take them somewhere inappropriate. So I make sure all links automatically go to spam. This prevents any spammers or trolls from putting inappropriate links onto my channel. So if you do see a link in the comment section, it means it was approved, it was verified. Go follow them, go check them out, go see what they have to sell, and tell them We Love Comics sent you. So thanks for watching. I hope this is beneficial. Again, very few people are really going to take the effort and time it takes to make this happen. And again, I'm going to stress it's not going to be successful overnight. It can take years. But no, you can't finish a race until you start it. The longer you hesitate to start running, the longer it takes. And if you never run, you never know what it's like to pass that finish line. So the earlier you start doing it, the shorter time it will now take for you to become successful. I wish I would have known this back when I was in my 20s. But as they say, better late than ever. Thanks for watching. I look forward to the 3 or 4 comments I'll get. And don't forget, it's not you, it's not I, it is We Love Comics. All of you enjoy the rest of your day. And don't forget to have your trolls spayed or neutered.